Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pilot episode of an idea that I've been kicking around here for a while. The Insider does interviews pretty frequently, but those episodes always drag out too long, and some of y'all complain that they talk too long, and I'm tempted to agree with you. So I'm going to start doing shorter one-on-one interviews with a handful of GMs, test it out, hear what they have to say. Joining me today is Ben, the GM of the world champion Astros. Ben, how you doing?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here. You know, this is going to be great. This is going to be an opportunity for you to talk about your team a lot and tell us why you're better than us.
Yeah, perfect guest for your first short interview, so I can just talk for like 3 hours about my team happily. So.
We'll see how long this goes. We'll see if the short we live up to it.
And if other people hear my kids are going crazy in the background right now, they're going to be going this whole way. So don't.
We're hearing unconfirmed rumors that there is a lot of personal tension in the Astros front office.
Yeah, we have a lot of conflict in our front office. Exactly.
Well, we'll get started on here. You've had a pretty quiet, but also pretty quiet offseason compared to some other teams, but you've been making some moves.
For me, this is a lot more activity than I expect to have in the offseason. I was just on with you guys during the World Series, and I said I like to make my moves during the season, so this is unusual for me. But yeah.
Is it maybe a little bit of that? I just won the World Series. I'm ready to keep doing it.
I definitely like winning. Let's keep that going.
All right. Well, I went through the trade log here, and I see that you made 6 trades this offseason.
Yeah, I think most of that was probably prior to the Rule 5 draft, and I just had a bunch of guys that I thought would get picked, and I kind of was in a mode of, let me see if I can just get anything for these guys. And I picked up a few guys that I kind of liked. One of them I traded for was Mike Beamer, who ended up hitting really well in Winter League, and I'm kind of excited about him now. So.
Matter of fact, we can actually start with that one here. I'll pull that up on the screen here.
Yeah, all right.
Looks like you sent shortstop Isaac Rodriguez.
Yeah, who's a nice option. He's in Double A, but he's at that age, and you know what I mean. And he's just not a guy I can afford to protect. And I think he's a good player.
Oh, almost lost it. And brought back Mike Beamer. I see the power there. Is that something that you look for in these kind of players?
Yeah. If you couldn't tell, yeah, I like guys who can hit some dingers.
What was it? You led the league in home runs. Am I right?
I think we set a major league record, didn't we?
I think the league set a major league record this last year.
I think we did.
Well, that falls into the category of smaller moves. We won't spend too much time on that. You made 2 or 3 bigger moves that I do want to spend a little bit more time talking on. If I can pull it up here.
Yeah.
First, with me, the host, you sent away Kevin Prue, as well as $2 million for a couple of pitching prospects.
Yeah, again, partially just driven by the pending Rule 5, and just he's right at that edge of that protection group that I want. You know what I mean? And so it's just an opportunity to move him for some prospects I actually like. But I really like Prue. I think he's going to be a good hitter for you. I think that was a good pickup for you. But I'm okay with that. I would have lost him to the Rule 5 otherwise.
So this was just kind of like a dump because you weren't going to protect him.
Get what I can get. I had other guys I felt I needed to protect more.
So I guess that kind of clears up Yordan Alvarez to be the definite first baseman.
Yeah, he's playing first base this year for me. That's right. That's his spot now.
And then I have no idea how to pronounce it. You're Italian. I think he's Italian DH.
Gaetano Tiscarinia, the Black Magic. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Definitely sticking with him at DH, although he's going to have quite a lot of competition this year with probably Kyle Tucker, Juan PA, Alejandro PA, kind of the PA sort of twins that I have. And then I think anyway, so there's going to be a few guys that he'll compete with for those at bats.
Since we're segueing it pretty well in here, we'll return to the trades later. I did want to ask you, that outfield is looking pretty busy.
Oh, I'm loving that outfield right now.
Especially after signing Ian Happ.
Yeah. So Ian Happ was a guy who was sitting there in free agency. I wasn't really looking at him, but he just kind of sat there, and his price came down into a range, and the year, to do a 1 year with an opt out. Oh, why not? You know what I mean? I'll give a guy a flyer for that length of time. I can afford it. And he plays a little bit of center field, so he can cover, and he plays a really nice left field, so he can cover that backup outfield role that I have. I was using last year Ethan Price in that role. But that kind of freed him up to be another piece that I could trade away. And yeah, we'll roll with Hap. I like him a lot. He'll also pick up some at bats at DH probably too.
Pretty nice position to be in, where you can say, yeah, I'll throw 36 million at a backup outfielder.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, chump change.
Oh my god, I'm very jealous. So that leaves you with 5 outfielders.
Yeah,
Actually,
Wampier is getting better and better in my view. My scout has him significantly better than what you see there. Yeah, give it away. But you can see OSA likes him. My scout likes him even more than that at this point. And
really?
I think he has a really, really hot future. He's going to probably be starting in right field for me and kind of a 50-50 split with Kyle Tucker to begin with. But we'll just see who plays better. And they're going to get the time.
With the logjam developing, and especially after when we go back to trades, another infielder you acquired, which pushes PA into a more Alejandro PA into more of a utility role. Can we expect another a move to send somebody out of this crowded outfield and DH situation?
I like these 5 right now. I really like it, but I'm always making moves, so probably.
Okay, a little bit of a teaser for what's to come, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll return back to the trades here because we briefly touched on it. You made a move to acquire another infielder.
Yeah, absolutely. Will Cabrera, he's coming into play second for me. I think he's been playing third with Oakland, but he's going to be my second baseman this year. And he's a guy who, what you see there, I think a lot of scouts see. I see something way, way better than that. I'll just tell you straight up, my scout's looking at a guy who's got a 70 overall current rating and a 79 potential, and that's what I traded for. And I really believe that's there. He was a consistent top 10 prospect for a long time. I've been after him since he was a prospect. With at least, and I was talking to Hebrew with the Phillies about this as well, because I think he might have also been after him. That we've both been after him for a really long time with successive GMs, and they've all just moved on before I could get anything done. And so I was really eager to get that done, and kind of for 3 reasons. One is my own team. I had to let Gavin Lux be. He was kind of the last guy left off my expansion protection list. I knew he'd get picked early. I think that was a good pick by Montreal to pick up Lux. But that leaves me with only PA, who can really play second base effectively, and nobody I saw I could really train in spring training. So I'm not going to go into a season with one guy who can play a position. And I picked up somebody in the role 5, Wilson, who's okay. Looks like kind of a replacement level player at that position, but I don't want replacement level players. I want plus players. And so I was really, really targeting a really excellent young second baseman. Cabrera for me hits just all my notes. He's got really, really plus power, plus eye. He should hit for above average, batting average. I think he's got a great personality. He's a leader, high work ethic. Decent runner, decent fielder. That's all I need in my setup at second base. So he's just a perfect player. I've been after him forever, but just absolutely threw what I consider the moon at it. I honestly believe I traded above value for what he is worth. You know what I mean? If I was just weighing it objectively, but to the position I'm in, where that's kind of the final piece that I felt like I needed for my roster at this point, was willing to overpay to make it happen.
Normally in this spot, I think a lot of guys would probably say you overpaid because of what they're seeing. Me personally,
2 CCPs. Mongia is a legit top 50 starting pitcher prospect. He's been that way for a long time. Again, I look at the consistency. If guys stay in that top 100, or I said top 10 for Cabrera, if they stay there consistently, I'm trusting that rating a lot by OSA. You know what I mean? The guys that jump in and jump out, maybe not so much, but Mongia is a legit lefty. He's a really good pitcher. I think he's better. Again, my scout has him significantly better, I think, than what you see there. And then Gregorio Sorto is another really good prospect. I think a top 50 prospect as well, who we traded, or at least up there. So Some solid players. Like I said, a couple CCPs. They're really tough to give up, especially with Coach Playa, who I've had some contact with him. And gosh, I haven't even let him know yet that I traded him out. I sent him a message after we're done.
Well, if he's in the Discord server long enough for you to let him know.
Hey, sorry, Coach. Pack your bags.
So it looks like Oakland gained the 46th ranked prospect, the 98th ranked prospect.
Okay, top 100. Okay.
Looking down the list here.
Yeah, I don't know that the other guys were rated, but obviously, yeah, the coach player, the CCP, it's a wild card. He's been somewhat engaged, so that's a guy that could end up being really good. So, and he already looks like a good hitter.
Do you worry about any negative consequences from trading within division?
To me, it doesn't matter that much. You know what I mean? If I'm trading in or out of division, especially where I'm trading packages for one elite player. That's the kind of move I'm looking to make. I don't need volume. So in that direction, no, not really.
Okay, awesome. Me personally, I'm pretty. I like trading in division. I'm okay with it, but I know a lot of people are worried about it, even especially with the expanded division format, maybe limiting their trade pool.
Yeah, totally. And it's a legitimate concern. I think if I felt more evenly matched with a partner, like it's a lot harder for me to complete a deal with the Angels, or even Seattle or Texas than where Oakland is right now.
You wouldn't be sending them Manija, right?
Mangia is not going to those teams. Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know you've been pretty high on Mangia, but it sounds like you got the guy that you wanted in Cabrera here.
Yeah, absolutely stoked to have him on my team. And just the final piece, I think he's probably going to start out hitting fifth for me, but might bat him second some even. I really believe that he's the numbers that you saw last year, I don't think are the player that he's going to be with us.
So adding him in there, what do you envision to be your starting nine?
Oh, yeah. So obviously Grayson Rowan at catcher, Jordan at first, Will Cabrera here at second. We're going to stay with Carlos Correa at shortstop for this year, and Matt Chapman at third. And then I would say my day one starter in right field is going to be Juan Pie, and then Sammy Isla on center, and Seiya Suzuki in left. And Black Magic at DH. That's it.
I love the smile that's coming on your face right there. You said this to me in a message. Well, what prompted wanting to do this interview. How many wins do you think you're going to have?
Oh, yeah. I'm sticking to it, too. We're going to win 110 games this year.
You heard it here first.
That is the bold prediction. Yeah. Amidst crazy competition. That's nothing against any of my competitors, especially in the AL West. But I really believe we have a really, really strong team.
You're not worried about maybe missing on one of these guys you went for, like say Cabrera continues to hit more like he has been hitting instead of hitting like the guy you think he's going to be.
There's no guarantees in life, in baseball. I mean, in this league, of course, guys can falter, and a bunch of guys falter at the same time, and we have a down year, so that totally can happen. But what I believe is the expected outcome. 110 wins.
I love it. You briefly mentioned this. This is a much smaller deal, but I did want to point it out because I like the concept a lot. You're not the first person to do this, but you are the first person I'm going to get to talk to about it. Will Wilson, you selected in the Rule 5 draft from Colorado. I see here that you traded Colorado $2.5 million to completely control his rights.
Yep, and that was just a number I just kind of threw out at Colorado, and he agreed to it. I don't know if I could have done that for less, maybe, but I'm full of cash, so no worries for my part. Yeah, I like him. I picked him up, and then as I'm looking, and he's got 3 option years left. I could park him in AAA. I'd like to do that. I'd like to have him as a replacement option available in case somebody goes down. But also not a guy I really wanted to carry on my major league roster for the whole year to acquire those full rights. So for me, I'm a really strong believer in the Rule 5. Always pick somebody up, even if you just have them through spring training, see if you get some development. It's always worth it to me. And then just to have this player on my team where I've got a kind of a shortfall in the middle infield right now. So need that depth.
With Sadier doing it first and now you doing it, do you expect the teams are going to continue to do this more often?
They should. They absolutely should. And it makes sense. Maybe a guy that maybe if I approach Colorado before the Rule 5 and offer $2.5 million for him, maybe they say no. It's not where I'm not going to trade a player for cash. But once he's gone from your team on the Rule 5, yeah, why not? Right? I'll pick up some cash. And legitimately, it would have. I probably would have considered keeping him on my roster if I couldn't complete the deal. So. It is a move people should look at, and absolutely fun. I'm glad you said that. Full credit to Sadier as hey, like anywhere else where there's a lot of competition, we're a copycat league. This is a great idea he came up with, and I was happy to copy it.
It's genius, and I do regret that I'm not getting to ask him first, like why he thought of that. I personally never would have.
I asked him about it, but I'll let him tell you how he came up with it. So.
Awesome. I think we'll reach out to him, see if he wants to come on here and talk about it. Have you been approached by either the Stags, the Marlins, or the Dodgers about one of the 3 players who were selected from your team?
I have not been approached by anybody, but actually I would be wide open to the same concept, and I'm willing to listen if they want to come make an offer.
Awesome. I'll do a little bit of advertising in the personal column for you.
You bet, yeah.
All right. Well, we've talked a lot about your lineup. We've talked about some moves you've made, but we haven't really talked about another area that's really strong on your really strong team, and that's the pitching staff.
Oh, yeah.
So
we lost Forrest Whitley. That's, you know what I mean? And not to cut you off, I apologize.
You're good.
Yeah, you roll right into it, right? Forrest Whitley, let him go to free agency. That was the plan all along. We used all our extensions this last season, and he was the odd man out. He was, he's an Astro in real life, or at least he was as a prospect. I think he still is. A tough one to give up. He won the Cy Young the year before we had human managers come in 2021. He had that devastating injury that he came back from that with a substantial loss in stamina, but he's still been a really good pitcher, and so it was a tough one to let him leave, but I just have so many other pitchers that it wasn't worth it to me to try to retain him. And I really like letting guys go to free agency who have that QA option available. And so we get a supplemental first round pick back. So great.
Especially since I believe it's actually I think you get like a second or third round.
My wife just brought my dinner in, if you were wondering what that noise was. But I'm not going to eat it in front of you.
Well, you get room service. Get
out, girls. Get out. Go on. Go away. They're going to want to come in and make a guest appearance. I'm sorry.
That's perfectly all right.
To meet them in person. This is Sammy. This is Isla. So if you're ever wondering where Sammy Isla came from, can you say hi, girls? This is my friend Brenden. All right, go on, you two. I'll be out in a minute. Go on. This has got off the rails.
This is like when the co-commission wants to come on, right?
Exactly. Yeah. All right, go on.
So,
thank you, girls. Go ahead.
They help with running the team, don't they?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they make actually all my major decisions. Go. Okay. They're distracted.
You're perfectly all right. Listen, I guess we're gonna be a variety show, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, sorry.
Where were we at? We're talking about
Forrest Whitley. He's gone. Like him. Glad to get that first round comp pick. I think there's a lot. That's the only way we can get extra draft picks, right? So to me, there's part of my strategy is to let guys go to free agency with a QA, or QO, sorry, and QA.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah. But anyway, we get Nola back from injury. So for me, that fills kind of the hole of Forrest leaving.
Before we get on to Nola, I did want to ask you a little bit more about Whitley. You mentioned you wanted to get the offer, to get the draft pick from the qualifying offer. The reason you're willing to let him be the odd man out with your extensions, the loss of stamina?
Yeah, I think that hurt him as a starter. I struggle with how to use him ever since then. You can see from the stats he misses some starts. I've tried using an opener in front of him. I've tried him out of the bullpen. I still think he can start. I think he's right on that cusp where he can start with the 6 stamina, but I don't love it.
I mean, looking last year, 33 starts, 132 innings. My math's not so good, but that looks like a little
It's
over
low.
4 innings.
It's low, although you see that's a lot of that is my team strategy. I'm not letting my pitchers go deep generally. I think I had one complete game for the whole year where the guy was pitching like I think he was pitching like a 1-hitter or something, so they just let him go. But other than that, I'm expecting just 5 innings from my starters. That's all I want, and then we just get to our bullpen.
Do you think that Whitley might be able to recapture some of his Cy Young level success in Atlanta?
Yeah, absolutely. He's still got it. He's going to like pitching there. He's got great pitches. You know what I mean? Just phenomenal pitch selection. When you look at that and that stuff, I think in this, at least in OOTP 23, I think his build is a really successful build. So absolutely think he's going to do great things for them.
Awesome. Well, we'll head back to the real topic of our conversation here. You started talking about getting Nola back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, excited. He's our team captain, even while he's injured, and I'm excited for him to bounce back. I don't think he's ever lived up to what I hoped to get when I traded for him, and I really want to see that from him this year. So he's going to be in the rotation to start the season. Probably the odd. I have kind of 6 what I consider reliable starters that I can field: Joel Machado, David Elvis, Fraser Perez, Corbin Martin, Corbin Burns, and Nola. And probably of those 6, I think Burns is going to be the odd man out again to the bullpen. He pitched really well out of the bullpen last year, so I'm comfortable with him there. But whoever struggles, we'll just shift that around. And then I've got some young guys coming in who look pretty promising to me. Steve Calder looks promising to me. Bonilla looks promising. Freshwater's coming in. He has stamina to start, although I think he's going to his trajectory is with the 2 good pitches. He's going to be just a really good reliever, I think.
Have you considered doing the off-season training program to maybe work on developing that changeup a little bit more?
Yeah, that wasn't my choice for it. I went with some other guys for pitching. I really like. I was saying in the channel today, in the Discord, I really like to use the add velocity and the add a pitch where I can, and that's 4 pitchers right there. So then the rest have to go to hitters. So.
Well, do you mind telling us which ones are the ones you actually did those bonuses on?
Guys, that was like a week ago, so I don't remember that at all.
If you gotta go,
I'm pulling it up. Yeah, no, I got you. Let me see here. So I added velocity actually to Corbin Burns, which I think is going to benefit him significantly. And then I also added it to a prospect I have, kind of a mediocre prospect, Jimmy Walther. He's down in he should be in my A level in Quad Cities. And then I added a pitch. I added Corbin Martin has learned to throw a splitter this offseason. Again, really like that. And then Chris Beltman is another prospect. I think I have him in Fayetteville. He added a changeup.
Okay.
So a mix of a couple prospects, a couple major leaguers, and I'm really excited about my 2 Corbins and what they're going to look like when we see those.
Who did you say you added the changeup to?
The changeup went to what's his name? Chris Beltman, and I think he's. He's supposed to be. I might have moved him. I moved him around somewhere.
Yeah, no worries there. I was hoping to pull him up to see if they logged him on there.
Yeah, I think it's already been input, and I could see a pretty immediate impact on some of these guys. So, I look at the OSA for things that I know where I know I've made a change, because that as I understand it, that OSA scout kind of updates constantly, so dynamically. So I could see a difference.
This is the added splitter, am I correct?
Yeah, that's right.
11 out of 11. That is.
Yeah, so exactly, and that's the thing, and the ratings that go in, right, at 40% of his lowest pitch, but I know look at that, he's an extreme ground ball pitcher who has pretty good velocity. He's gonna, you know what I mean? He's gonna. You add that pitch to what he already has, I knew that was gonna be a good pitch right off the bat. So,
I would venture a guess and say you have, without a doubt, the deepest pitching staff, and
I hope so.
I find it hard to say maybe you don't have the best.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how you qualify best. There are definitely a lot of guys out there who have a better 1, 1, 2, even 1, 2, 3 than I have. You know what I mean? In terms of having like 80 overalls out there, who I don't have. But I think where I think the real strength of my team, you know what I mean? Well, maybe I should save this for why we're going to win it all, if you're going to ask that. But that, you know, yeah, I don't have any weak links. You know what I mean? The bottom guy in my bullpen, the bottom guy in my rotation is still a really good player. So.
Is much better than even some teams' top guys.
Maybe, possibly, but it's you know I'm wanting to fill out a roster without any kind of hole. So.
I'll ask you the same question I asked you when it comes to the lineup. Looking at the depth from the pitching rotation and in the bullpen, could we see maybe a move to upgrade to where you get one of those best 1, 2, 3? Say you package one of those extra outfielders with the extra pitcher to get another top guy.
Yeah, I could see that happening for sure. And that's the kind of move I think I'm in a position where I don't need to make that going into the season. It's not like where I was at with second, where I only have one guy I trust.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a situation where I have depth to trade from. So hopefully I can find a partner who's willing to play ball. And yeah, I could see myself looking to add an even more elite pitcher to this mix.
Not asking you to say if you've looked already, but have you or who you've looked at? But have you been looking already?
I'm always looking. I'm always talking.
All right.
The city never sleeps.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of predicting, and once we're going to get to our final prediction here, and then we'll let you go.
Okay.
First, which pitcher on your staff do you expect to be your Cy Young contender, or do you expect there to be multiple guys?
I don't think I'll have a Cy Young contender. Just honestly, I don't. Again, I don't have those elite guys that other people have. If anyone did it, I'm sticking with my man Joel Machado.
All right. So you don't expect to have a Cy Young. You don't expect to have a Cy Young contender. I believe that Edwin Diaz won reliever of the year last year. Do you expect him to repeat?
Oh yeah. He's going to win that for like 10 more years.
All right, I like it. Back to the lineup. Will outside of your big four, really? I was going to say big three originally, but then I remembered Seiya Suzuki.
I think of it as a big three. That's how I think of it. Yeah, I do. I mean, Seiya's right there, but I kind of have like those top three, the obvious, those 80 guys.
Do you, outside of the, including Seiya Suzuki, outside the top four, will somebody else have an offensive performance this year that surpasses those guys, like landing them inside a big top five?
No, I don't expect that. Any of them could. They're all good hitters, so any of them could. They're all in a range where they're good enough that I think anyone 1 through 9 of my hitters this year of my lineup, I believe, could play well enough outside the sort of the boundaries of what's expected to win an MVP. But do I expect that? No.
Okay. If you had to take a guess on a guy on your most likely big time breakout candidate, who would you pick?
Breakout candidate for sure, Juan Pie. Everyone should be paying attention to this kid. He's a late bloomer. He's 20. He's 20, about to be 26 here, going for the season. But I really believe he's going to come into his own this year and just really turn some heads.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. I got 2 more questions for you. Number 1, 110 wins that easily wins the West, right?
Oh yeah.
All right.
But I'm saying some of these teams are going to hang with me for a while. It's not going to be like first week we're pulling away. So.
But we assume 12 division games. We assume at minimum an 8-4 record against all of them, right?
That doesn't happen anywhere.
Project confidence.
We're going to do fine against the good teams we play, and we're going to just destroy the weaker ones.
Yeah, let's go. Well, with that, you kind of read my mind earlier. Are you going to win it all again this year and repeat?
I think we have as good a shot as anyone else, if not better. But I can never predict the championship because there's too many coin tosses along the way, and it's just too easy for one of them to come up a tail. So I would never predict the championship, but I am predicting 110 wins.
I like this. I like the safe answer. You don't want to give the Angels too much ammo, right?
He could come in and just beat me in the division series, and that's that. Yeah.
That's fair. Well, man, I really appreciate having you on here. I know the family situation's getting a little bit excited, so I'll let you go here.
Well, I appreciate the break from him.
Well, as much as you can get, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go be a dad now. Ugh.
lot of fun.
All right.
Well, I like I said, I do really appreciate having you on here. I think this went pretty well for its first edition.
Great questions. I really appreciate you having me on. I love talking about my team. So thanks for doing this.
Awesome. So when you repeat, we'll have you on one more time. Awesome. Well, this has been the first episode of this one-on-one interview series. Working title, work in progress. We'll have a working name hopefully by our second one. Check out everything in the eMLB. We have most teams have Twitter accounts now. Links to the Discord will be in the description here, and links to everything else we do on the YouTube channel. So from me, Brenden, who runs the Orioles, from Ben, who runs the Astros.
Peace.
I'll do a terrible intro and we'll get going.
All right.
There's a reason Aiden handles it.
My wife's telling me I got to wrap up. I can do about 5 more minutes.
We're close
sorry.
here.
I'm so sorry.
You're fine. You're
totally
fine.
professional podcaster here.